Why, hello there, friends. What's going on, LBHT crew B? What is going on?
What's going on, man? It's a very special Wednesday here.
It
And hello,
is.
Jacob.
Can you see Jacob?
Yeah,
Jacob,
he
say
was he
hello.
was lean, man.
Say hello to my assistant producer. No, he's in his producer chair. He's in his producer
Uh,
chair. He's there just in case I need anything. Okay. Yes. Shout out to assistant producer Jacob in the house. Oh, look who's in the chat. Our guy Ravens Online Ungatekeeper says freshly minted 1,000 subs. Congratulations, gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
this is the first show as a 1K sub channel. So
Everything feels different.
hey, everything feels different, yet it's still the same. Okay. It's still the same. Hey, thank you everybody that helped get us to 1,000 subscribers, especially
Yes.
you guys that come here every week. Look, Brandon Buck, shout out to Brandon Buck. He says draft day. He is
What's
talking
up,
about
Brandon?
our fantasy football league that we do for the patrons. Okay, the LCFL. We're doing our rookie draft today. Shout out to Yolanda B says good evening and congratulations on reaching 1,000 subs. Thank you, Yolanda.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that. Our homegirl Danity says happy 1K. Congrats. Thank
What's
you,
up, Dandy?
Danity. Appreciate it. Sweepy Band says congrats. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. What's going on, Andre Mears? Yes.
What's up,
Yes.
Andre?
Haji Ba says, yes, sir. Happy 1K. Thank you. Thank you. Raven Ron's in the house says, what up, LBHT? Surrender your picks. Yeah, shout out to Alex Stark says, what's up, LBHT? Keep pounding, fellas. There you go, B. We got a mixture of Ravens and Panthers fans in the house.
That's
Shout
right,
out to Alex
Alex.
Stark. Yeah, appreciate you coming through. Yes. Congratulations on 1K. Well deserved. Thank you. Thank you. Our partner on Ring Kings podcast says, congrats, fellas. Best nation. We call that donation. Looking even better at 1K. Indeed. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, yes, 1,000 show. We promise we're gonna have something special for you. Not this week, because honestly, we weren't expecting it to hit this week. Next week we're gonna have a couple nothing big, couple of goodies for you, But yes, thank you so much. And if you're brand new here, if you're new in here, you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because our next goal is 2,000. All right, let's go ahead and hit that real quick. Yes, Jacob approves. He approves 2,000. That's what I'm talking about. Also, we mentioned our partner, Otar Mike. That is for our other podcast, Ring Kings podcast. There it is right there. All right. If you're not subscribed over there and you love boxing, take a second to go over there and hit that subscribe button because we're trying to reach 1,000 over there as well. All right. And what you just saw on the screen there, lbhtshow.com/shop. That is where we get our sweet merch from. If you like what we're wearing, go right over there and take a look at something that you like in your size, and we'll get that shipped out to you. Okay, appreciate that. Yes, this right here. Yes, indeed. Thank you, son. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, we have a lot to cover here. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the NFL. Well, mainly D Hop and his suspension. We're going to talk about. We'll give some more thoughts and opinions on the Ravens draft and the Panthers draft, and what that means for the season coming up, and the NBA playoffs. We haven't discussed too much about the NBA playoffs. Look, our season's over. Lakers are out, Nets are out, but the playoffs are still going on. So we're going to talk about that. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah, so this one's just going to be about the kind of strength and longevity of kind of Black culture. Beginning in West Africa, every culture has their own folklore, right? In West Africa, there's a particular character named Anansi, who is often depicted as a spider, or a spider with a human face, or a man with 8 legs, and he was kind of a trickster character, kind of similar to how Loki is portrayed in Norse mythology. And Anansi would kind of just use his wit, and intelligence to outsmart foes who were much stronger than him, right? But again, this was in Ghana. And the word Anansi actually translates into spider in the Akan language. But that character and those stories were actually brought over to the West through the slave trade. Uh, they ended up in a lot in the Caribbean, some in the in the colonies, and the stories kind of endured. They inspired the character Brer Rabbit, who was another U.S. folklore character who was similar, a trickster who kind of kind of outsmarted people. He also kind of became a symbol for enslaved people and oppressed people, of kind of a revolution. Because obviously enslaved people didn't have the means to just kind of go head on against their oppressors, and kind of he gave that kind of inspiration to them to be able to outsmart the people who were oppressing them, right? uh, not only those, but we also have even to this day that character enduring. Neil Gaiman wrote American Gods, and Anansi's a character there. He has another book called Anansi Boys, which is being produced into another TV show pretty soon here, I think later this year. Also an inspiration for Spider-Man. There's a run in 2003 that featured Anansi where they kind of named him as the original Spider-Man. So just a little story about the strength and like I said, longevity of African tales. Obviously, you can Google Anansi. There's a lot of books with that collect his short stories, on Amazon and anywhere else like that.
Yeah. Appreciate that, man. And I actually saw that book, Anansi Boys, and I was thinking about getting it. I wasn't sure if that was a spinoff of American Gods or what, but Neil Gaiman is an excellent writer, so I'll probably check that out. And shout out to our man Hendo. Yes, Ravens Online Ungatekeepers. He says, congratulations. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Hendo.
And I should also mention, for the new subscribers, if you're looking for the super chat, this is how we do our super chat. There are two ways. Right below Brodny, right there, $ LBHT Show, and that pinned link that you see in the comment, that'll take you to our stream elements. Either way, you just go either the Cash App or Stream Elements, leave your donation, leave your comment, and you'll get a nice little animation right next to my face. Speaking of, I want to give a quick shout out. We got a subscriber that came on, that subscribed right before we came on air. Chef Gwendolyn, appreciate that. Mr. J the King also subscribed earlier today. So shout out to Mr. J the King. Let's see if his animation comes. There it is. Mr. J the King subscribed. Appreciate that. Yes, indeed. Yes, I see you, Shug, over there on Twitch. By the way, we are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Those are all places where we are present. Also on TikTok at LBHT Show and Instagram, the same handle. Shug says, because the Nets got swept. Well, the Lakers lost in. Oh, that's right. They didn't make it. How about that? Helio Dominguez is in the house. What's up, Helio? Says, what up? How you guys doing? New season to come. New hopes in the horizon. Hope it's time for the Ravens. I hope so too. Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming through. Yes. Godson's in the house. What's up, Godson? Appreciate you coming through. Davon's in the house. It's hashtag LBHT crew. Yes, indeed. Yes. The Don Shad Life says, what up? We still defunding that defense? Well, look, that's their bread and butter. All we can do is campaign for them to do the right thing by Lamar. If you're for what they're doing, hey man, all we can do is just hope it works out. Yeah. So we'll see. All right. So we want to start with some NBA.
Well, we're gonna also say what's up to our guy Eric L. How you doing?
Shout out to Eric L. Appreciate you coming through, man. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we can start with the NBA playoffs round 2. It's I hate to say it, but Boston is looking pretty strong up to this point. They just blew out Milwaukee. Yesterday, they were up by 25 at halftime. Milwaukee tried to make a run. They got to within, I believe, 12, but they weren't able to really, push over that hump to get any closer. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, both playing great. They got Robert Williams back. They're going to be getting Marcus Smart back. So they are kind of, at the moment, looking like maybe the team to beat.
Yeah, Marcus Smart he's only going to lose one game, right?
I believe
Or miss one game. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So it's tied 1-1. Yeah, they came on strong that second game. They made a statement. So we'll see how that finishes out. I'm picking Boston to win the series. I'm picking Boston to win the series. I mean, we've been saying for a long time that they have young stars, and it looks like they're stepping it up. They're figuring some things out. And a coaching change, I think, might have made a world of difference for that team. So picking Boston. Miami and Philly. This is going to be a short series for Philly. Now, look, Embiid is out, and that's everything for Philly. I know Harden came in and supposed to take them over the top, but Harden looks like he is completely falling apart right before our eyes. Now, I know people were making fun of KD in the first round. They're saying, yeah, KD's washed. I don't think KD's washed. I think, they tripled and quadrupled teamed them, and, they made them had a bad series. Harden is just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Oh, and shout out to Anonymous for the $100 donation, man. Thank you. He says, congratulations on making 1K and beyond. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And look, we, as promised, man, we have a lot in store for you guys. And next week we're gonna do something. I don't want to say big, but something nice for you guys. And we have high expectations for the show, and just a lot of goals that we're trying to meet. So lots of content on the way for you guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. And shout out to Tanja. Says, I caught you guys. What up? Thank you for coming through, Tanja. So B, okay. All right. So what do you think about the Boston series? I know I kind of skipped ahead a little bit.
They are playing that way right now. I think I'm still going to go with Giannis. I think in the end he's going to pull it out, I believe. Boston, like I said, they're looking really tough right now. They're looking like they may be the team to beat, but I'm going to stick with Giannis for at the moment. Because I mean, as bad as that game was yesterday, they still split on the road, right? And that's really all they were kind of looking to do. So we'll see how it looks once they get back to Milwaukee. But right now, I'm still sticking with Giannis. Over in the West, man, I think Memphis is really tough. They took a game off of Golden State. Ja Morant is.
Wait, hold on. You didn't get you. Who do you have in the Philly and
that's
Miami game?
I didn't need to talk about that.
I brought that up because shout out to Keeping It Real. Keeping It Real, who is a Miami Heat fan, says congrats on 1K, gentlemen. I got the Celtics in 7 and the Heat in 5 or 6, depending on Embiid's playing status. I agree. I say 5 because even when Embiid comes back, it might just be 2.
Can it be 3? I mean, I don't know. I don't have any belief at all in Philly.
Yeah, it's over for them. It's over for them. All right, in the West, yes, Memphis. Man, they're such an exciting team. Shout out to they went from the Grindhouse era, right, with Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol, straight into Ja Morant.
Yeah,
man, that. Well-run organization.
Obviously, a great young player. They've got some talent around him. I think it's just a little too early for him. And the Warriors are still, it's still Curry and Clay over there, right? Yeah. Even though they may not be as good as they once were, they're going to be too much for Memphis. I think in the other series, you got Dallas with Luka out there all alone. I'm not sure how that's going to play out over the course of the series. They desperately need to get Luka some help.
Hold on, we got to take a time out here, B. We got this is a special announcement. Breaking news: Living Legend has returned.
Living Legend,
where have you been, my friend? Man, we were getting look. We have we have something for you, man. We're gonna reach out to you after the show. We got something for you. We're like, look, don't worry about Justin Houston. Don't worry about that. We were gonna take care of you anyway. Okay. Thank you for coming through. And shout out to Bro Kumi Kwan. Appreciate that. It says congrats on 1K. The road to 2K begins now. Indeed, only from up here. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you, man. Thank you so much. Living Legend is here, ladies and gentlemen. That is our guy, man. Yes. Thanks for coming through. This is truly a special stream now. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to Ferris in the house.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I feel you, man. Well, keep grinding, keep doing what you got to do. Ferris says Suns making the finals. Okay. All right. Just Allo, thanks for coming through. Says congratulations on 1K. Well deserved, my friends. Thank you.
Just
Thank
Allo.
you. Jake P in the house. Indeed. MDT Sports says Warriors winning this series. Yeah, I think so. But man, Memphis is there's so much fun to watch. They're both teams are fun to watch.
Yes.
You want to go to the
With that said, I am going to take Dallas in this series. I think it's going to go 7. I think Luka's going to pull it out. I'm not a big fan of Phoenix. I don't think that they're quite as good as advertised. And I think that, it's going to come down to just Luka playing too well. And I think they get just enough out of guys like Brunson to kind of knock them off on this in this series.
Dallas, they're tough, man. That game the other night, it looked like it was going to be a blowout, and then they just came back at the very end and almost stole it.
Yeah,
that made me a little nervous. But good news, Buck, I am going to go with the Suns in this series. I'm going to go with the Suns. Yeah. Shout out to Couch Rider Raven. Says, "What's up, gents? What's up with you, Couch Rider? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate you." Raven Ron says, "No defense tonight at Suns." Okay, hey, look. Okay. I think the Suns. I think the Suns will do enough. I think this might go 7, but I'm gonna pick the Suns. Okay. Which one are you reading at?
I was scrolling up because Garnett and Ferris have just been saying, "No, he ain't Garnett. Yes, he is Ferris." For like the last 6 comments, I was trying to find the beginning, and Garnett was saying that John Morant's the best player in the NBA right now. He absolutely is not.
He's not. No. He's exciting. He's very exciting. He might be the most athletic, but best player? No. Not there yet. But he is one of the better players in the league for sure. Keenan Ricketts says Suns or Golden State from the West. Okay. All right. I like that. What else we got here? Memphis, some dirty mofos.
I think you mean Phoenix with that one.
Buck says, "B, are you high? Suns at 5."
But I guarantee you said Suns at 4 before they lost, right? Or you were saying it before. But yeah. So we'll see. Like I see Just Allo saying that the Dallas are paper tigers. So are Phoenix.
That's a good point. And shout out to OTR Brandon. Says, "Never underestimate the heart of an almost champion. #Suns." Okay. Well, Dallas has done it before.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Not with this current team, though. So that's a good point. Shout out to Attitude Pop says Memphis and Celtics. Okay. All right. I think it's. I don't know who's going to be from the East, man. I'm leaning towards the Heat. I think the Heat can make it back there with Jimmy Butler.
Really?
Yeah, I think they can. I'm
gonna say.
Raven Ron says no. Ja ain't a few hard fouls. Then John Morant is a 3-point shooter only, or 3-point shooter only.
But Raven, he can't shoot threes. So
he's not. I want to say, well, he might shoot the threes. I don't know. That would 3-point shooter.
Yeah, that would be terrible. I don't think that would discourage him too much, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely not he's not the best player in the series, so he can't be the best player in the league.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, all right, that is a quick NBA round 2 playoffs. We're going to discuss some more of that as the series close out. We might do a live stream here and there for some of these games, but let's get into some NFL. B. Do you want to start with the roid user, the cheater?
DeAndre Hopkins was suspended 6 games for violating the league's performance enhancing drug policy, and he cannot believe it. He cannot believe it. He says he's extremely careful about what he puts in his body, and he's going to be looking into this, and he's going to get to the bottom of it.
He's going to figure it out.
I feel like we're already at the bottom, and so you took something that you're not allowed to take.
Yeah. Look, it's very possible that he did take all the precautionary measures,
Mhm.
was very careful. And sometimes these supplements that you take, these companies just put stuff in it that they don't disclose. And, it came up during testing and it turned out to be a banned substance and he had no idea. Like it's tough to say now, right? Because yes, sometimes players just cheat. And other times, you know, just they have so many things on that list. I think some of those things may not even make sense, but they're on the list and it's just hard to keep up with. And boom, it comes up in your system and it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
To me, because what is it, 6 games? I mean, that's a lot.
Yes.
I feel like they should reduce that. But
Well, that's what kind of what I'm looking at right now. It says a first offense for anabolic steroids would trigger a 4-game suspension. So I'm not sure what he tested positive for. Let's see. Under the C. Okay, no. That is just an increased penalty. They're just going harder under the new CBA. So that's a 6-game penalty for the first offense.
I just said D-Hop juiced up. Adjupop says only 6 games, but Calvin really got suspended for a whole season for gambling. 2 different offenses, man, but they see one more as way more serious.
Well, yeah, and look, to be fair, it is more serious to the business of football.
Yeah,
for players to be gambling.
Yeah. They can't be any kind of it can't appear as if these games are being thrown because there are already some conspiracy theories out there that think these games are fixed, and having players bet on games would just add fuel to the fire. So they cannot have that image out there. Yeah. Shout out to Keelan Johnson. I'm gonna read this. Going back to basketball real quick. It says finals is going to be Boston versus Phoenix, Celtics in 6 or 7. Tatum gets established as the best player in the league. Oh, Deshaun, is that you? And Jaylen Brown becomes a top 15 player in the league and best shooting guard in the league. Hey man, look, I know they swept my Nets, but I won't be mad at it. Yeah, I won't be mad at any of these teams, man. There's so many young, good young players out there, man. Like I love it. I want to see like this next generation of stars rise up. So, however it happens, it happens. Just Alice says Beaver tranquilizer for D-Hop. Is that true? I don't know. Buck says just hope D-Hop doesn't turn out like P2 after he got his PED pop. P2, who's P2?
Pat Peterson.
Come on.
I wouldn't be too worried about that, but I mean, it is what it is, right? He's going to miss 6 games. Y'all traded for Hollywood Brown. You have Rondale Moore. You have Zach Ertz. Brought back James Conner. You got Kyler Murray. You should be fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Couch Rider says Father Time's undefeated. I think he got the message and took a chance. And I think D-Hop, his skills, he's never relied solely on just like his physical attributes. Like he's a very skilled wide receiver. He's one of those players that he may slow down a couple years ago. You just didn't notice. Like he's just that good of a player. I don't think he needs PEDs to stay on top. Shout out to Griff says, y'all ready to see that 1-2 punch of Murray Hollywood? We about to see a lot of it. That's for sure. So I wonder, like, did they know ahead of time when they asked for that trade that he was getting suspended?
They probably did. Did.
Yeah. And Ray was like, yep, we'll do it. Who are we going to have at wide receiver? Do we want to talk about Urban Meyer or do we want to get to the Ravens using...
I mean, we can mention Urban real quick, I guess. I mean, there's no need to spend much time on Urban Meyer being a dirtbag.
Yeah, so you guys know Urban Meyer got fired. He had a long contract too. I'm not sure how long his contract was, right? And I felt like he was just intentionally, let's just say, not trying his best to win these games for the Jaguars. Now, if you don't know anything about this, I understand because who watches the Jaguars, right? But he was doing a really terrible job. He was in the news a couple times just for his
well, he was accosted by some young people.
Yes,
in Ohio.
I meant to pull up that picture, but
dragged to the dance floor and grinded upon.
Yes, he got a lap dance from a young female after a game. Right, he didn't fly back with the team and said, I'm gonna go party it up. So that wasn't a good look. The owner didn't like that. And it just, lots of losing. Lots of players just having an issue with them. So finally, he got fired, which is why I think he wanted, so he can get all that guaranteed money he had coming to him. Except he got fired with cause.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know what that means we're going to fire you and we're keeping the money.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Urban Meyer did not like that, B.
No.
He did not like that. So they're going to go to court and fight over that. So I just thought about bringing that up because there was an article out today. I guess they interviewed Shad Khan about it, and Shad Khan just said, "Hey, look, like what kind of—I forget the exact quote. He said, what kind of professional is that? What kind of person is this? That's not somebody you can respect. Essentially,
yeah,
he's absolutely right. In fact, what's the quote here? When you lose the respect, the trust, and an issue of truthfulness, how can you work with someone like that? That's what he said. How can you work with someone like that? It's not possible. There you go. Yeah. And look, to their benefit, they found out early that he was not somebody that you want to go forward with, and now they got a real coach in Doug Peterson. So, so we'll see how the season turns out for them.
Yeah.
Hold on. Keelan Johnson says, I don't know y'all if y'all know this, but Urban Meyer literally used to host Larry Elder at Ohio State. That doesn't surprise me. And have him talk to the players. Couple that with his comments about black players from the South. Yeah, he's not a good person at all.
No.
He's not a good person at all.
A bit of a trend at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And other Scott. That's not, that's not exclusive to Ohio State, but yeah, they had the sweater vest who was all about his integrity until he wasn't.
Right. Right. His NFL career didn't work out the way he thought it would. Right. He thought he was going to be an equipment manager or whatever for a couple of years, and then he'll get a shot. But they said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We'll talk real quick about Justin Houston getting the unrestricted free agent tag, and we'll tie it into the Ravens draft. So yes, the unrestricted free agent tag, which I think is one of the most egregious rules in the NFL, was placed on Justin Houston
and
Melvin Ingram. I think it's just a horrible rule. Marcus Golden from the Giants, he got tagged with that a couple years ago, I think 2020. And essentially what it means is, hey, we're going to tag you. We're not signing you. We're just tagging you. And if you work out a deal with another team, they have to compensate us for it, right? We have to work out some agreement for it. If nobody signs you by a certain date, then you can't work out a deal with anybody else for the rest of that year except us.
Right. Which to me, it's funny because it flies directly in the face of all of the honor your contract people.
Yes.
But of course, it's not something that they would ever mention, right? Because the contract has been honored. They're free agents. And now their previous employer says, hey, no, you're not.
Right. I think, you can't sign. You say, hey, I don't want to go back to this team, but they tag me. And somebody like Justin Houston, okay, he may not get signed right now, but he's a veteran. He can come in and give you some good snaps, good rotational snaps. Maybe he gets signed later on in the season. Somebody goes down, or hey, team that's trying to make a championship run just needs an extra little bit, of pass rushing, and they want to sign him towards the end of the season. He's not able to do that because the Ravens tagged him.
Right. And the Chiefs with Melvin Ingram. And that's why I don't listen to that nonsense where people talk about honor your contract. There are at least 5 different ways that an NFL team can prevent you from leaving after you honor your contract. You got the franchise tag, the transition tag, you got exclusive rights free agents, you got restricted free agents, and you've got the unrestricted free agent tag. There may even be more. I didn't know about the unrestricted free agent tag until very recently. But when the teams have that many different ways of preventing you from moving on, you can go somewhere else with honor your contract.
Yeah. I agree. Shout out to Rockson, not Rakuson. I've been calling him Rakuson for the longest time. I am sorry, sir. It is Rockson, aka Rock for short. Okay. Shout out to him. He said, salute to panel and chat. Thanks for coming through, man. Just Al says it's just reserve clause light version. Yeah. Yeah. Mikey from Off the Record Podcast says, damn, I thought it gave Ravens the right to match any other offer. Well, that too, right? I think they can
I believe they get that right as well.
Yeah, they can match any other offer or take get compensation. But if nobody signs them, right? Which doesn't look like anybody wants to sign him right now. He can't sign anywhere else for the season. And that's something, for somebody like him, this is why I don't like the rule, because he will get signed eventually. He's one of those players. Somebody will pick him up for whatever reason. And, it's to his benefit because, okay, maybe he doesn't want to do training camp, right? He just wants to, all right, I know how to stay in shape. I know what to do. When a team needs me, they'll call me. I'll be ready to go. Or, playoff time comes around or whatever,
Yeah, because it may not be that nobody wants to sign him, and maybe he just doesn't want to sign right now.
Yes.
You see a lot of older players go that route. I'll wait till this summer.
It's fine. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And for the Ravens, look, just sign them. Like you didn't get any pass rushing help. You didn't do anything for that. And like we said last week, we tweeted it out. Hey, pass rushing is not a priority for the Ravens, and a lot of people were jumping on us for that. But look, they proved our point. They drafted a guy that wasn't going to be ready until 2023 to play, and they didn't do anything else. They have Justin Houston out there. I don't know why they just not signing him. Like they're going to do it, but he'll be on the team, basically.
No, Rock, and honestly, probably not going to. Not big on undrafted free agent talk. If one pops every now and then, that's fine. But it's just, for me, it's not worth talking about.
All right, so we can get into our draft reactions. But I'll tell you what, is there a player that that sticks out to you?
All the Ravens flock are really excited about all the receivers they signed, because Baltimore definitely doesn't need any receivers, but they got like 4 really good ones in undrafted free agents.
Hey, shout out to Garnett. I'm not sure if Garnett's still in here, but he made a very good point in the spaces that I listened to for about 5 minutes. He was just like, I hear a lot of Ravens fans say, hey, what receiver is there that's worth drafting in the 4th round? There's no receivers that are worth drafting. Everybody wants to get receiver. All the ones that they want went off the board, and you're not going to just reach for a wide receiver. All right, fair. But we pick up like 3 wide receivers after the draft, and there are a lot of people like, oh yeah, he could be something special. He could make the team. Oh, you got to watch out for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he's so special, why didn't he get drafted?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't put any stock into undrafted free agents unless it's somebody that has clear talent and he doesn't get drafted because he has a long rap sheet. Now, those guys.
Well, or Justin Ross, who had major injuries, and teams are kind of scared off by that. Yeah. But Baltimore didn't sign him.
Yeah. if you had to take a felon that he has all talent in the world, but he might not put it together, I'll roll the dice on that person all day.
Yeah.
Let's see. Horace says Prochet season. That's right. EDC said he took a big leap last year, and he sees Duvernay as special teams. No, what he said was he said Duvernay was great on special teams, and they have a theory about players that perform at a high level on special teams. They think that translates to the field, so they actually expect Duvernay to make that next step. What they said about Prochet was nothing. Prochet, trust me, Prochet is not. He's going to be in the same role as he was last year. He'll get in there in a few snaps here and there, every now and then to move the chains, because he's a try hard. He'll run the routes correctly. He'll catch the ball, and defenses will leave him open from time to time. And he can catch the ball, and he can get you 50 yards here and there. But that's it for Prochet, right? Yeah. I know. Yes, hashtag Channel 3. I feel you. Prochet is he's gonna work hard again, and he's gonna inspire some of the younger guys coming in, and He's gonna clap it up for them when they get out there on the field.
Davon is the most sincere troll I've ever seen.
Yes. Kayvon Thibodeau. Shout out to our Giants fans that are in that house. They had themselves a pretty good draft. Although a few places didn't give them a good grade or a high grade overall. I thought they did. I mean, look, you get Kayvon Thibodeau and who did you get? Evan Neal?
Evan Neal, yeah.
Man, I don't care what else you get out of that. Right. A. You get an A. All right. B. You guys essentially had 2 picks, right?
Pretty sure they had more than that. Okay. They came back. They traded next year's 3rd round, and they got themselves a franchise quarterback.
Matt Corral is intriguing. B. He's intriguing. The talk is that he might have had a little drinking problem, which is what kind of shot him down.
Well, not just that, but bouts with depression as well. Hopefully those are more or less behind him. Regardless of how his career goes. But I mean, yeah, coming into the season and through a good chunk of the season, a lot of people thought he was one of the better quarterbacks in college. They had a lot of talent. Like I said, just me personally, I wasn't that impressed when I watched him. But it's Carolina. He's going to get a shot. He has to be better than Sam Darnold, right? He has to.
Yes, he has to. Like exactly. I had to think for a second. I was just like, well, maybe with a better line. No, Sam Darnold is not good.
No,
he's definitely going to compete from camp, and don't be surprised if he ends up winning a starting job, man. Not saying he's going to be great and necessarily good, but he could take that starting job, and that's all it's going to take to keep Panthers fans engaged this year, right? Mm-hmm. It's easy to buy into a season when you think your team is working towards something. Now, it's okay if Matt Corral's not your guy. You can go and draft the quarterback next year, or we'll see what the QB market is looking like then. But building up the O-line looks like it could be pretty solid now, right? You got your skilled players. Like you didn't make any like ridiculous signings or anything like that. Pretty solid offseason.
Yes.
And a solid draft. That's enough for Panthers fans to say, let's see what this guy's got. We can ride with the season and see, how it shakes out. No real expectations, but we can just look at it and just kind of see, okay, this guy's working out, that guy isn't working out. Here's what we need to plug holes. That's something you can get behind.
Absolutely. And I wish that it was Malik Willis instead, but it is what it is. They prefer Matt Corral to Malik Willis. I think that I think Donald's going to start the beginning of the season. I think they'll give him some time. I think they probably want Matt Corral to ease into things. They want him to sit for a little bit. Obviously, what always happens when you have a rookie QB, your starting QB struggles, you lose some games, and then the pressure is up to put the rookie in. It's less so with 3rd round picks, but it'll still be there. Especially considering what a colossal failure Sam Darnold was last year, and the fact that he was the chosen one for this staff, and that staff is back. So all those things combined, there's going to be a lot of pressure to get Sam up out off the field. Come on, man, it can't be Golden Corral. You gotta come with something else, man. It can't be that.
Hashtag Golden Corral. Davon, get this started. Listen. Go if this name sticks. We LBHT crew came up with that first. Shout out to Davon. Hashtag Golden Corral.
It cannot be that. All right, Davon. I appreciate the attempt, but it cannot be that. It's the worst.
Brandon says Corral is Diet Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, look, not going to argue. I hope not.
listen. You're not going to get B to throw any hype behind this man. He has to prove it. He has to prove it, which is exactly what I keep saying about Ravens players, man. Like, I'm not anti-Ravens players, but they got to prove something. And shout out to Anonymous, says, why didn't the Panthers draft Mr. Willis?
Excuse me. I'm not sure. I think that, like I said, I thought that Malik needed to sit a year. He has issues with timing. He needs to speed up his process. I think they probably looked at that and said, that's one of the harder things to fix. Maybe he's not going to make it. And they just preferred Matt Corral. But I think what you saw with this draft is no teams were really high on any of these quarterbacks. The first quarterback went off the board at 20 to Pittsburgh, who was, kind of desperate to replace Ben Roethlisberger. And then we kind of thought that there would be a couple other guys who went in the first round. We thought Malik Willis for sure would go in the first round. There was talk about Carson Strong going in the first round. The next quarterback didn't come off the board until the third. And then, a guy like Carson Strong went undrafted altogether. So the league sent a message loud and clear that they don't think any of these guys are real franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah. And look, I think Malik Willis is going to get a chance to prove that he can play. Corral is going to get a chance to prove. Speaking of, Black Daniel says, I'm in ANC. I'll start the campaign. Hashtag going Corral right now. Yes, Black Daniels. Yes. All right. They all says hashtag keep pounding. But no, not drafted high, but they'll get opportunities.
Yeah.
And just real quick on Malik Willis, Ryan Tannehill, who's not a fan of the pick, said that it is not his job. It is not his job to mentor Malik Willis.
And he is getting crushed by NFL players. The NFL players are all over him. Charles Woodson said he's scared. Richard Sherman said that teammates would he would always want his backups to be good and everything.
Listen.
And
look, while I agree with him, it's not his job. Like, it's not your job to replace to train your replacement. It's not your job, right? But I'm gonna let it ride. If they want to crush him. But you know why? Because people were showing clips of Cam when they drafted Will Grier, and he just like, hey man, it's my job to make sure he's ready, whether they calling him, me, or whoever. I'm about the team. Same thing with Donovan McNabb when they drafted Kevin Call.
Call him a rare talent.
Grier. Look. Cam is going to cheerlead for you no matter what. If you're on his team, he is going to ride with you. But look,
because Cam's a leader.
Look, when they try to replace McNabb with Kevin Kolb, same thing, right? No shots thrown or anything like that. Because they got to say all the right things, because if he says anything wrong, then he'll come off as a hater. Yeah. So these players kind of bashing Tannehill a little bit. It's just like, hey, we understand that you don't want to lose your job, but like, show some professionalism is kind of what they're saying. But I don't disagree with Tannehill. Like, it ain't my job to train you to take over.
And I kind of look at it the same way that Ben Roethlisberger looked at it when they drafted Mason Rudolph. He said, "How does that help me win?"
All right, we're gonna read a couple. We're gonna read a couple comments. D Weezy's in the house. We're gonna talk some lunch money bets, and then we'll get back to some more Ravens talk. All right. Let's see here. Shout out to Fat Boy Kaz says, I was called a hater because I said people overhype Prochet up too much. And look, OTR Mike says it all the time. Like, there will never be another city that loves James Prochet the way Baltimore does, man. Like, he can never leave this place. If he gets cut, he just needs to come back as a coach, because they love him here. And he has done nothing. The man has done nothing. He has 200 career yards. I don't understand what all this hype is about. This is worse than Chad Schillings. You guys don't even remember Chad Schillings, right? This is worse than that. That man, I mean, all he did was stay hurt his whole career, and people were just like, Chad Schillings, you watch it when he gets healthy. Keelan Johnson says, but if you apply that same logic to getting top wide receivers, Harbaugh's fans will argue you up and down and say idiotic stuff like UDFA receivers will be enough and they can switch up at tight end. Yeah, it's nonsense. Brock P says Ravens watched as teams were moving up for the elite wide receiver in the league. Knowing Hollywood is being traded, and decided to not spend a pick to go up and get a replacement, but a safety fell. Yeah. That's why I'm not going to sing their praises for the draft, because their biggest need, that wide receiver was one of their bigger needs going into the draft. They had already gotten rid of Boykin. They didn't bring back Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
Now, you can say, those two weren't good anyway, but they played. Sammy Watkins was a starter. So you didn't replace him, right? And we already needed to get better. So that was already a need, and we got rid of our best wide receiver so far. I mean, we could say Bateman is going to be better, but he's not better yet. So huge hole. We didn't even attempt to fill it.
And the thing is with Baltimore, they get all this praise from the draft community, and Ravens fans eat that up. And a big part of it is they value low value positions, right? The league doesn't value safeties. That's why Kyle Hamilton fell. But people who cover the draft love Kyle Hamilton. They say, "Oh man, probably the best player in the draft."
So, yeah, what's up? I was waiting for this, Couch Rider. 3,900 yards, 39 touchdowns in college, though. I'm curious to see what he does with more snaps. Pro say don't be a fan later. Listen, do you know who has the record for most college sacks? He's on our team. Do you want him playing? It's Sack Daddy. Sack Daddy holds the college record for most career sacks. Nobody has more sacks in college in their college career than Jalen Ferguson. Do you want him? Do you want him to get more playing time? Just because you do well in college, that does not it doesn't always translate over to the NFL. Those stats don't mean anything to me. This man's going into his third year, and he hasn't shown anything. He hasn't shown anything. The only thing that people point to is one game in Denver to say that man needs to be a starter. And that wasn't even a 100-yard game. He didn't get a touchdown in that game. He doesn't have any touchdowns in his career. Like, it's nonsense, man.
I don't understand the numbers. Y'all just giving it. What are you giving, Taurus? Are you giving facts on your boy who has produced absolutely nothing in the NFL?
So
facts.
So by your logic, Jalen Ferguson should be starting, right? Give him more snaps. He did it in college. He did it in college.
Targets. Yeah, he had 20 targets because he's garbage. You don't have receivers in Baltimore, and he couldn't stay on the field. He played a little over 200 snaps. Why? Tell me why, because I know none of y'all will tell me Sammy Watkins was good, right? I know none of y'all tell me that Duvernay is so much better than him, right? So tell me why. Why did he only play a little over 200 snaps if he's so much better than these guys?
Oh, Ferguson needs to be working at Albertsons. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Did you see his college career? I mean, like, I don't understand the logic there, right? We're talking about numbers. Nobody's done more in a college career in terms of sacks than Jalen Ferguson, but you don't want to give him more of an opportunity. I mean, Ferguson, he started like 9 games. Yeah, I would say that's not enough for somebody like that.
Why didn't he get benched for Prochet is what I'm asking you.
Right. We know why. Like, we know this is like y'all making it seem like we hate the guy. We don't hate the guy, but I mean, we see what the team is doing with him, and they're pretty non-committal on him now. I don't understand this. Like, I don't understand all this hype for this guy. That he hasn't done anything. And I'll say this too. I'll say this: if he turns out to be great, I'm gonna root for him. This whole don't be a fan later. Don't nobody police that. I root for the team. Just because I don't believe in somebody doesn't mean I'm not rooting for him.
Coach, again, I'm asking you a very simple question. Why can't he start in Baltimore, who has one of the worst wide receiver corps in the league over the past few years? Why?
Yeah.
Like, you keep asking me how many starts, how many targets. Like it's the team, conspiring against him. And if that's what you think, if you think that it's the team that's holding him back, what makes you think it's going to change this year?
Look,
it's the same people in charge.
Look, Brandon, you hit it right on the head. OTR Brandon, this is it right here. He pushes other players in practice. That's why they keep him.
Yeah.
That's why they keep him.
He's a hard worker, and he's good for the morale and the chemistry. It's always nice to have those tryhards on the team. He can't get on the field.
And just for the record, Couch Rider, I'm also rooting for Prochet. I'm rooting for every player that makes the team, right? I'm rooting for him. Absolutely. So if he proves me wrong, all for it. I'll be happy, because that means we have a reliable starting wide receiver, a top wide receiver. I just don't think he can do it. All right. It's time. We've kept our guests waiting long enough. We'll pick this back up on the other end. But right now, it is time for you gambling degenerates. To get your pen and paper ready, it is time for D Weezy. D Weezy.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man? How's it going? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. You know, we got a couple games lined up for tonight.
Okay, what games we got going on for tonight? What
right.
what are the lines?
Well, you know, as I've said, I'm on every NBA playoff game this year. So if you're in the Discord, that's a little bit of a bonus. You know to play going into some of the early games. Tonight with Memphis or Miami and Philadelphia, I'm on the game total under. You look at that total versus totals you've seen in recent years, and especially over the course of this past season, 208 is a very low number. Regardless, this was basically the same number that cashed in the last game. You're talking about two teams playing right at about 100 apiece, maybe a little bit over. Final score somewhere in the range of like a 106, 102, maybe less. That's the way the book is handicapping it. And you know, I was on this under before. Unders are not a pretty play. You know, you need bad basketball. You need bad plays. So, you know, it's not fun to watch, but winning is winning when it comes through. And going on to the next game, you know, I'm on the total again with Dallas and Phoenix. It's at 216. You know, we saw last game with Dallas. Luka can carry this team. It's that simple. You may not like it, you may not agree with it, you may not think they get far with it, but as far as from a points production, he can put up anywhere from 30 to 50 points in a game. And so something like a game total, you know, another player on that team gets a little hot, gets in rhythm, starts making their shots, the over becomes a very serious play. And then you also have the Suns who are starting to get more healthy and maybe start to play like their regular season form. Now, to switch things up a little bit, you know, as y'all know, I come with a little bit of variety. You know, we got CONCACAF Championship going on.
Wait,
tonight.
what's that? What was that? What was that, sir? No cursing allowed on this show, my friend.
Hey, I'm sorry, but you need to culture yourself a little bit, sir. We got the Seattle Sounders taking on Pumas from actually Liga MX. Going into this game, the Sounders are favored heavily. One of the best, probably in the top 5 of MLS teams. You know, it's definitely a team that year in and year out, you see them at the top of the leaderboards. Minus 150 on the money line. A little more on the juice than I prefer, but I think they'll come through. And I also like the over 2.5 in the game. That's a number y'all have heard me harp on a little bit, especially when you get some more scoring teams matched up on the pitch. And so, you know, those are my plays this week. And, you know, y'all was talking numbers before I came on, and y'all know I'm a numbers guy. Well, me personally, I don't want to hear nothing about no James Prochet until he got more career TDs than there are James Prochets in the world. Okay. let's just make it that simple. You know, when he get 4, then we can talk.
There you go. All right. Listen. Your channel's up, my friend. Let's talk about your channel real quick.
Yes, folks. As y'all have heard me say, you know, y'all have heard the rumors, y'all have heard me talk about it. Well, now it's official. Backyard Action Media is up and running. You can catch me putting up a video probably every Sunday around noon. Lunch table roundup. I'll be breaking down a couple games each week, kind of like I do here, maybe going a little more in depth on certain plays or certain things that I'm looking at to occur in a game. And, you know, delivering more content and more basically what you see here, you know, as the members of, you know, Patreon know, in the Discord, I've dropped plays and opinions and sides and takes on a variety of different sports, whether it be futures. You know, I'm still sitting with the futures taking on the NBA championship. So, you know, go Bucks.
All right.
Yeah. So, you know, there's definitely a lot going on with D Weezy and these betting markets.
There you go. That's D Weezy. And also, you can find him in our Discord. We'll tell you more about that in a second. He has his own channel on our Discord called Lunch Money Bets, and he usually hangs out with us. He's definitely hanging out with us tonight on the Overtime Show. D Weezy, we will see you very soon, my friend.
Oh, yes, folks. I'll be watching the rookie draft. Y'all take care out there.
Thank you, Derek.
All right, that was D Weezy. Yes, and I see you, Couch Rider. Look, Couch Rider. He wants the living legend bet. And shout out to, man, I'm so glad Living Legend came through, man. We are so happy to see you, man. We're glad you're doing well. Thanks for coming through, and we have a shirt for you. We don't owe him this shirt. I just want to make that clear. He did not win that bet. But because we love Living Legends so much and we've missed him, we want to give you a shirt, my friend. So we're gonna reach out to you. Cash Rider says, can I get the same deal? He wants the same deal with those sacks, but with receiving yards for Prochet.
And the answer is no, because anybody you throw out on the NFL field and let them play, they're gonna get those numbers. Baltimore's proven that before. You remember Kamar Aiken? You remember Marlon Brown? Were those guys good receivers? Kamar Aiken had 900 yards in Baltimore.
Most people don't remember them. That's a funny thing.
I know, but that's Carolina did the same thing too with Corey Brown. They did it with Kerry Colbert. So if they roll out there with this receiving core and they put him out on the field, he's gonna get numbers. That doesn't mean he's a good player.
But my question is, why such a low standard? Yeah. And this is where we always bang heads with people, because you pound the table so hard for Prochet, and I'm saying, okay, if he gets all the opportunities, all the snaps in the world, right? All the starter snaps and targets, what's the best he can do? What kind of numbers he's putting up? I've only seen one person say 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here saying 500. That's I mean, that's everything to Prochet, sure. But I mean, why not at least 800 yards? 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like, you can't do that? Hell, you know what? 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. If he has 800 yards and 5 touchdowns.
How am I moving the goalpost? I never said he couldn't get yards if he was out on the field. I said he's a garbage wide receiver. Bad wide receivers produce the same way bad quarterbacks produce if you put them out on the field and let them throw the ball. James Winston threw for 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. Tell me how good he is.
Broad P remembers Marlon Brown. That's what I'm talking about, Broad P. Yes, never forget Marlon Brown. Yes, man, Marlon Brown was supposed to be that guy. He was, and so is Kamar Aiken.
Mm-hmm.
And Deontay Thompson. You guys don't remember. Man, you guys don't know. Listen, see, man. You guys, no. Hold on. Because I'm having vivid flashbacks of when we won a Super Bowl, and then we let Anquan Bolden go, even though he said he wanted to be a Raven for life. And it was just like, why'd you let Anquan Bolden go? And I was one of those people saying, man, we got all these young receivers. Deontay Thompson, Kamar Aiken, Marlon Brown. Like, we had all these guys. It's time to let the young guys shine. That's what I said. It's time to let the young guys shine. And none of them worked out. All right. That's why I don't want to hear it about Prochet and Duvernay and Benjamin Victor. People are talking about Benjamin Victor now. Yeah. Man didn't even make the team last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. Like, no. Get some talent. Tommy Streeter. Yes, I remember Tommy Streeter.
Because Baltimore been serving Ravens flock dog food for years and telling them it's filet mignon, and they repeat it. They believe it. They eat it up.
Marlon Brown is Living Legends' homeboy.
Not your uncle.
Tandon Doss. Yes, I remember Tandon Doss. Oh my God. Don't start. Look, some of these Ravens fans that they're talking this stuff about Prochet and stuff like that, they don't remember that. 700 yards, 5 touchdowns. Deal? No, 800 yards. Why are you shortchanging your man Prochet? Like, right. you're making an ultimatum saying when he blows up, don't be a fan. 700 yards, 5 touchdowns isn't blowing up. That's not blowing up. Make it 800 yards. That's not blowing up either. But I mean, come on. Come on. Let's make it 1,000. Right? But 800 yards, 5 touchdowns, you have a deal. All right. 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. I think you said something about a t-shirt swap. Yeah, we can do that. Shout out to Kimberly Harmon. Says, hey, lunch break hot take. What's up, Kimberly? Thanks for coming through. Let's see. your answer, Keelan is responding to iHorse. If that was true, why hasn't any other Ravens drafted receiver besides Marquise and Torrey Smith done it? Ravens have only drafted 2 wide receivers that have been able to crack 1,000.
They don't throw the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Anquan Bolden didn't get 1,000 yards. You're going to tell me Anquan Bolden wasn't good enough?
Right. Let's see. Campanero, man, that's the hometown guy too, man. Love Camp. He was a good player, man. He just didn't have a football body, man. He cannot stay healthy. I hate to see him get hurt every time. Just Al says that's 47 yards per game to get 800 yards. Yeah, that should be.
So
right?
Andre again. So bad wide receivers don't put up numbers. Was Kamara a good wide receiver?
No. Don't give him a name. Tell me some bad wide receivers. Tell me some receivers in the league that you think are bad. Don't start looking up guys that have under, under 800 yards or whatever. Like, just tell me some bad wide receivers. Some guys you think of and you think, man, that guy can't play. Because I mean, you can get 500 yards. You can get 500 yards. Like we don't consider guys that get 500 yards good wide receivers, do we? Is that what is your standard? I'm curious. Like, what is your standard for good? I mean, maybe we just have different definitions of good, right? I can see that, here in Baltimore because we don't have good wide receivers typically. Our horse says 146 targets isn't throwing the ball around. Oh yeah. No. We were talking about Hollywood. Yes, Hollywood. Listen,
and Hollywood went over 1,000 yards. So what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure.
And we didn't say any wide receiver can get 1,000 yards. We said any wide receiver can produce. We're talking about Couch asking for 500 yards. Yes, any wide receiver in the NFL who makes the team can get 500 yards if they put him out on the field and throw him the ball.
Oh my God. What? DeVar Darling. Oh my God. DeVar Darling. I know, look, because we're older and so it's just Aloe. Okay. I just got to point out, we can't be old alone, just Aloe. You're old too, right? You're old with us. I understand if you don't know who DeVar Darling is. You should not know who DeVar Darling is. DeVar Darling was Prochet. We put so much on this guy. Oh, we got DeVar. Oh, he's gonna blow. Wait, you just wait. DeVar Darling's gonna blow up. He's gonna take off. Never happened. So, you can see with some of the older fans why we're just not on this train of let the young guys play, because they've been saying that since 2006. And we've had enough.
Bro, stop rage typing for a second and explain what the hell you're talking about. Like, what is 100? What are you talking about?
Well, I was gonna ask because we kind of he was having a conversation with somebody else. We might be talking about two different things. Okay. Brian Edwards is somebody that Andrew doesn't think is a good wide receiver. What Brian Edwards have this year? Let's see. Brian Edwards. He had, if I could find him. They're like, who? He had 571 yards, 3 touchdowns, 34 catches. There you go. Right? I mean, that's not hard to get. Yeah, that's not hard to get. Nelson Aguilar. Oh, with his mishaps, I don't think he cracked 500 yards this year, but he had a solid year not too long ago. Nelson Aguilar this year had 37 catches, 473 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was this year. The year before, he had 896 yards and 8 touchdowns. The year before that, 363 yards, 3 touchdowns. Year before that, 64 catches, 736 yards, 4 touchdowns. In 2017, 768 yards, 8 touchdowns. And that's a bad receiver.
Yeah. When did I say that a person can produce sitting on the bench? Tell me that.
With Steve Smith.
What are you talking about, dude?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about Prochet? Because Prochet's been in the league. This is going on his 3rd year.
Yeah.
This is going on his 3rd year. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to really see the field that much. So he's not going to produce then either. And look, I don't want to make
this. If you're going to bring him up, one, it was much better than Prochet. 2, what was his second season like? Because Prochet's already had his second season. So tell me about Steve Smith's second season.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, B. We gotta bring D Weezy back. He's back here. He wants to present another wager. What is your wager, sir?
Yo, all right. So since everybody feels so strongly about Prochet and what type of season he will,
I won't say everybody. I think it's
no, because you either feel one way or the other.
Yeah.
So see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
All right. So what you said? What 800 yards, 5 TDs?
Yes.
I'll put money on that I'll match anybody's bet, basically. I give you 2-1 odds. He don't get it.
And no, Couch. No, we're not throwing stipulations on there as long as they don't bring in another receiver. Do you believe in James Prochet or do you not?
Oh, yeah. No, see, no, this is how a bet works. It don't matter if it don't say if or they trade for somebody or don't bring somebody in. That's how the game works. You feel strongly about it, put some money on it.
Yeah. I don't care who they trade for. I expect Rashad Bateman to get 1,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That's how strong I feel about Rashad Bateman, right? I know I say, hey, look, he still has to prove it to me, but I feel good about Rashad Bateman. Like I feel like I don't care who they trade for, DK, Debo, Scary Terry. I don't care. Rashad Bateman gonna get his 1,000 yards because I think he's gonna be that kind of player. Do you feel that way about Prochet? It doesn't seem that way. So I just don't understand why we have to argue so passionately about him. Like I mean, did he put a down payment on your car? Like what did he do? What did he do to y'all, man? Like what did he do? What like I don't understand, man. Like does he volunteer at your school? Like what is it? Does he babysit your kids? I mean what is it about Prochet that like it's just like, yo, we can't have any Prochet slander in here, Don't root for him ever. When he gets that 500 yards, don't say I didn't tell you so. I would love this. Chuck Clark for Scary Terry. Oh, man. Can we make that happen? Please. We can throw in Prochet, too.
There you go. Now that why you want Scary Terry when you got Prochet with less wear and tear, because he hadn't gotten all them starts.
Okay, Couch Rider, we got a deal. Okay, 800 yards, 5 TDs. All right, we pressured you into this. You don't feel good about that. You're sweating over there.
See, I'm offering 2-1, and don't nobody want this smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Hollywood. I have horror stores. I like Hollywood. I actually wanted him to stay. I definitely wanted him to stay. We weren't going to replace him. I just think Hollywood's a number 2. I don't think he's a number 1. And yeah, look all these players, and this is a good thing. A good sign for Lamar. Lamar just makes everybody better. When Lamar's in the game, he's easily. I mean, he could have easily went over 1,200 yards if Lamar finished out the career, the season. If he finished out the season, he'd have easily gone over 1,200 yards.
Wait, hold on a second. Scary Terry over Prochet. LOL, y'all wild. You about to get blocked.
I don't. Wait. Wait.
Confirm that you're joking.
Just so you understand, I'm talking about Terry McLaurin. Maybe you're thinking of somebody else, but I just. I hope that's. I hope you. Yes, McLaurin. Yes. Yeah. But yeah. We
thought I was crazy.
Listen, no. Let's just confirm here. Do you think James Prochet is better than Terry McLaurin?
No, we're not gonna block him, King. What's up, King?
No. Do you think that James Prochet is better than Terry McLaurin? This is a yes or no question.
We're not blocking it.
Do you think he's a better player?
But you can't possibly think that.
No, I'm not. No, don't give me this BS about. Oh, let's see his hypothetical numbers. Do you think he is a better player? Do you think he's a better wide receiver than Terry McLaurin?
I'm trying to save you here, Horse. Please tell me that's not what you're saying. Please don't tell me. We don't have
is better than Hollywood, and I'm assuming you mean Prochet or McLaurin here. You said Prochet again. He's better than them hands down.
He's not better than Hollywood either. We don't have a wide receiver on the team that's better than McLaurin.
So yes, you're saying yes. Okay, we're done talking. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Look, just so we're clear for everybody else, if you don't know who Terry McLaurin is, because some of you don't know who Terry McLaurin is, right? That's why we tell you guys to go watch other teams because Horace doesn't watch anybody other than the Ravens.
I'm telling you,
I'm not
McLaurin.
convinced he even watches the Ravens. The only team he watches is SMU.
He went to school with Prochet. I mean, look, I get it. Look, I get it, man. You're gonna ride for your boy. I get it. There's nobody on this team that's better than Terry McLaurin, including Rashad Bateman. And if you disagree with that, I highly suggest you watch some tape on Terry McLaurin. I highly suggest. There isn't a player on this team that's better than Terry McLaurin.
No.
All right. I would trade everybody to get that man.
Yeah.
All right. Look, we'll take a few. Look, we went up. We got off track here, man. But it's bonus time in case you didn't know. Whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk more Prochet? You want to talk about some other stuff that's going on in the draft? Let's do it. This is your time. So just go ahead and just throw it in the chat. And yeah, let's see what we got here.
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah, there we go.
One question coming in here. Hang on.
But Lauren over Prochet 365 24/7 and some not even close. Yeah, it's not close. I think he was joking. That look, he knows Prochet. That's his friend. He's gonna defend. Terry versus Bateman. That's a closer bet. I'll take you on that too. And I love Bateman.
Hold on.
Oh, shout out to Anonymous. Says, will Mr. Jackson run 5 times a game in 2022? Unfortunately, it might be higher than that.
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, he did come out recently and say he does not like running. He doesn't want to run. He wants to stay in the pocket and throw the ball. I think he's going to do that as much as possible. I'm sorry, Derek, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll put some odds on that Scary Terry versus Bateman.
Hey, but you know what? But Couch Rider is right. That is interesting. And
yes,
Bateman
that is a
closer.
Yes, that is a closer argument there.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. That'll be interesting to watch. That'd definitely be interesting to watch. And I'll be rooting for Bateman. I want Bateman to be the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah. But
we like Terry McLaurin. I mean, do you know how many quarterbacks have thrown to him so far? Can you name them without looking up? I bet you can't. I bet you can't.
I got an unfair advantage.
I know you can. Shout out to Buck, man. It says congrats on 1K. Suns in 5. Suns in 5.
Thank you, Buck. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys again, man. Just for the subs, for the support, for the views, for the comedy. Shout out to Al Horse. Just look. It's all fun, man. It's all fun, man. And
I'm gonna let Al Horse know officially right now that you have moved into the old attitude pop territory where your comments don't get read without a donation at this point. But appreciate you, man.
This is a good question right here. Shout out to Dawson Bollock. Will Bowser be ready to start next season?
They're saying yes. The last thing I saw was Harbaugh saying that they expect him to be ready in training camp. Harbaugh's a liar, but
yeah, you can't trust Harbaugh.
We'll see. I'm expecting him to be ready for the season.
That sounded a lot like what they said about Staley during the season.
Yeah,
Stanley.
Yeah,
Stanley.
So I mean, look, we'll know in training camp if he's out there practicing. Then that's a good sign that he'll be ready. If he's not, like they better not rush him back. I think honestly, I'm gonna say no. I think that's why they brought in they tagged Justin Houston for that reason. They're not 100% sure if he's gonna be ready. If there's any setback or he's not quite ready, they don't want to rush him back, and then they can just say, okay, Justin Houston, now we'll sign you, and you can start the first couple games until Bowser is ready to take over. So. And if that's the case, you just sign Houston. It's not costing a whole lot.
Yeah, and Kimberly was asking about that as well. Your thoughts on the tender to Justin Houston?
Yeah, you meant just Justin Houston. I don't like that tender. I'm not a fan of that, man. It prevents him from going where he wants to go when he wants to go there. It's saying that if you don't sign anywhere by a certain time, then for the rest of the season, you can't go anywhere else but here. I hate that rule, and that's one of the things that frustrates me about the NFLPA is that they don't fight for their players even a little bit. There should never be a rule like that. That's unheard of in baseball and basketball, even hockey. Like that's nonsense. Like,
Well, you don't want to bring baseball free agency into this
they got
discussion.
so many rules.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
yes, up until a certain point, right? Like they're like however many years they're on a rookie. Break down the rookie contract in baseball. Is it like the first?
All right. The short version is you have to accumulate enough time in the pros for it to count as major league service. Then you have to acquire at least 3 years or play basically like 5 years in the league. You go through arbitration, possibly multiple times, depending on whatever contract you sign. Now if they don't offer you any sort of multi-year deal or bigger deal, then yes, you might have arbitration back-to-back years, 2-3 years in a row maybe. But to get the free agency, you basically are a 5th, 6-year player at minimum.
Right, but after that, there's no unrestricted free agency tag.
No,
right?
But they can do things like send you back down to the minors and limit your playing time because
they have a lot of control before that.
Yes, if you don't spend enough time, enough service time in one calendar league year, it won't be accredited as a full year.
And they do that even to star players.
Yes, this happened just a couple years back with a dude, Chris Bryant, and literally one game was the difference between him getting a full year service.
So how does that work, right? Like, let's say somebody like that has like a big contract, and they just want an extra year out of him, and they send him down to the minors or whatever, right? Are they still getting their same salary when they go down to the minors, or is
yes,
it if
you sign a contract with the pro, the big league team, you're under that contract.
So if they don't get enough service time within that calendar year, they basically get an extra year with that salary.
No, what he's talking about is before players hit free agency, before they get those big contracts.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You have to get a certain number of years in before you're eligible. And they'll go to arbitration.
Unless you're, you've already proven that you're worth something. You may not be, top player MVP level yet, but you're proving that you're worth more than just a player that might fade out in 2 years.
Got you. Okay, all right. Hold on, I missed a couple tips here. Let's see. We got Shug. Let me bring this back up, Shug. My bad. He says, "Congratulations on 1K." Thank you, Shug. He says, #LBHT crew is one of the best communities out here. No, Brodny, I'm not trading my 3rd pick. Brodny, how do you feel about bullying people on this show?
I don't bully people anywhere, anytime. So
he said, all joking aside, much love, Jose and Brodny. Appreciate you both. Thank you, Shug, man. Thanks you so much. Appreciate it. Speaking of Attitude Pop said, thank you. Did you see that Steven and Dan said they would take Burrow over Lamar and that he's way better than him? And Dan Orlovsky said there ain't no young QB in the league he would take over Joe Burrow. Look, when you watch mainstream media, man, you're going to get a lot of hot takes like that. And I mean, they do that for people like you to click on their links, right? Like, they know what they're saying. They want to get a reaction out of you. They know that there's a lot of Lamar Jackson fans out there, and they want to set you off because that's what makes them money.
And listen, it's fine to think that. I mean, you can have that opinion. You're not obligated to think that Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the league.
No.
Joe Burrow is a very, very good quarterback. Justin Herbert's a very good young quarterback. There's a lot of young talent in the NFL. I mean, it's fine. I mean, nobody cares what Stephen A thinks, but Orlovsky, he can have a different opinion.
Yeah. All right, let me go back and catch some of these.
And also, is it really that hot of a take that he said Joe Burrow? I mean, I could think of a lot worse names you throw out there.
That's what I'm saying. He's a great young quarterback. He just went to the Super Bowl, in his second full season, or in his second season. It's fine.
Hey, you know what? Ray Baron, he says, "What's Ben Simmons' $35 million non-playing excuse next year? He's gonna play next year."
Ben Simmons, for all you haters out there, is undergoing surgery for a herniated disc in his back. All y'all talking about he was faking an injury.
I'm not worried about Devin Simmons, man. Like he's going to get together. There's no need to come back just to get swept in that last game. Like KD had a pitiful performance.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a leader of his team. I put it all on KD. It's not Ben Simmons' job to try to spark something in this team. That's supposed to be the leader, KD, or leaders, KD and Kyrie, and they didn't get it done. So don't put that on Ben Simmons.
Well,
Ben
that's
Simmons
not
will be back
even
next
them. That's Steve Nash's job.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's the
Well,
coach.
well, I don't put it on Steve Nash because Steve Nash is not a real head coach. They handpicked him. They said we don't want a real head coach. We just want to coach the team. So bring in our friend Steve Nash. I don't even put it on Steve Nash. Now, what needs to happen next year is Sean Marks needs to say, "Hey, there've been some changes to your key access, KD and Kyrie. You're no longer allowed in the GM office. You're back to being regular employees, and I will call the shots. And oh, by the way, Steve is fired. Okay, and we're getting a real coach in here." But I put that on.
Yeah,
KD
go hire
and
Mike
Kyrie.
D'Antoni.
Yes, I'll take D'Antoni.
All right, awesome. Yes, please do that for us.
And shout out to Keelan. Keelan says Ravens fans created a narrative that our defense and running game won our last Super Bowl, when in reality defense was 25th ranked. Yes, passing offense was ranked 15th and running offense was ranked 11th. Yeah, there are a lot of misconceptions about that last Super Bowl run. People don't remember, and and also even if we won it with top defense, even if they were the number one defense, because you could say that year, hey, Ray Lewis was out for part of the year, Suggs was out for part of the year, but they put it together in the playoffs. You could say that. Who's Ed Reed on this team? Who's Ray Lewis on this team? Who's Suggs on this team? Who's Nada on this team?
Right.
Like, we had some of the greatest players of all time at their positions all at once. This is not that team. You're never going to see that team again. It's a completely different league, and we don't have those caliber of players. Our only star is Lamar Jackson, and you need to be building weapons around him to get you over the hump. And I'm going to read this from Couch Rider real quick. He says, Ojabo back mid-season.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Like, it depends. The hard thing about Ojabo is he's clearly going. He's going to start the season on PUP, but he's probably going to miss all the training camp. So even when he's healed up, like, there's going to be some time before they get him up to speed, ready to go out there and play. So it could be mid-season. It could be a little bit later than that, but I wouldn't expect too much from Ojabo this season. That was a pick for next season.
Right.
Yeah. Here's a hot take for you. Harbaugh liked that pick because he knew he'd get an extra special teamer on the roster while he's out on the PUP list.
Right. I think we can go out on this comment here.
Oh, go ahead. Knicks will win a chip before New Jersey Nets. You don't believe that. You don't believe that. All right. Shout out to everybody that's in here. And if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Definitely hit that like button on your way out. We are getting ready to start the overtime show. We didn't even talk about that, man. Real quick. Let's talk about how they can be a part of the overtime show. Right? Patreon.com/LBHT Show. That's where we're heading over to right now. We have 3 tiers now. 3 tiers. Okay. $3, $10, and $20 tier. B, real quick, tell them about those tiers.
Yeah, so the $3 tier will get you entrance into our NFL Pick'em League, where we give away a custom LBHT trophy at the end of the season. That will also get you into the Discord channel and the overtime show. The $10 tier will get you into our fantasy football league that we run every year. We also have a dynasty league where we give away a custom championship belt. We'll start up a second one of those if there's enough interest. The $10 tier also obviously gets you into the Discord and the overtime and allows you to request videos or articles on specific topics, and we can produce that for you. The $20 tier will get you. It's a kind of a combination tier between this show and our boxing podcast, Ring Kings podcast.
Ring Kings podcast. Yes.
And that'll get you both the LBHT crew coin that Jose has there.
Yes.
That also comes in the $10 tier as well. But you'll get that along with our custom poker set featuring our top 25 boxers of all time.
All right. Yes. And let me bring up this comment from Keelan. Shout out to Keelan, man. Appreciate you coming through. It says the reality is the Ravens in the 12 and 13 season had a team that is fit more for today than current Ravens with Lamar, and only run this emphasized running game and refuse to get Lamar great receivers like they did for Flacco because they don't believe in him. You said a lot right there, man. It's a lot to unpack. That's a lot to unpack. Yeah, Flacco definitely had more weapons.
Yeah. That's a point y'all have heard me harp on a little bit, is they haven't done anything for Lamar.
Yeah.
And I will say, to be fair, they have tried. They've just kind of failed. They drafted Hollywood in the first. He wasn't the player they expected. I mean, he's a good player, but not the player they were hoping for. They drafted Bateman in the first. They drafted a couple of receivers in the third. And for the most part, it just hasn't worked out. Sammy Watkins didn't work out. Seth Roberts didn't work out.
Des Bryant didn't work out.
And I don't know why they expected those guys to work out, but of course none of them did. And they kind of let the O-line deteriorate. But this year they look to have gotten that back on track.
And you know what? Look, you don't get a passing grade for trying.
No,
you failed. Like this whole they're doing everything for Lamar. They drafted 2 first-round wide receivers. They brought in this person. They brought in that person. Not good enough. You failed. Sorry. And yeah, I do think the O-line will be better. I hope, but they still got to go out there and show something. Right? I mean, I feel really good about Tyler Linderbaum. Did you know every center that's been drafted in the first round has gotten a second contract? Every single center that's been drafted in the first round has gotten a second contract. So I feel real good about Tyler Linderbaum. But they still gotta go out there and play the games. Okay, all right. That is it. We are done. We're gonna fire up that overtime show. It is rookie draft time. If you want to come and hang out with us some more, and look, overtime show, you talk about anything and everything. You want to keep talking this more crochet or whatever, for just as little as $3 a month, patreon.com/LBHT show. That's where you go. All right. But if not, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're gonna have something special for you guys next week. A little something for you guys. Oh, on the way out, we get hit with a donation. Oh, shout out to Anonymous, says wishing continued success, brothers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And our assistant producer Jacob also thanks you. Yes, indeed.
Exactly.
Okay.
We are a thumbs up community, so hit that thumbs up button.
That's right. All right, B, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, y'all have a good night. Patrons, give us a couple minutes. We're going to start the show, and we will see you next time. Peace out.